Earlier this year, a new student, Sam Morgan, came to my school at the beginning of Term 2. Sam had just moved up from Brisbane and was new to Townsville and seemed quite lost at our school. Naturally, I introduced myself and did my best to help him get settled in and get the swing of things. It wasn't long before we became better friends and started getting closer. Catching up on the weekend, walking to class, joining the same clubs. Although, I noticed it seemed a little too good to be true. I seemed to do all the talking. He always agreed with everything I said, never called me out. I began to notice a difference in our relationship to that with my other friends, and questions popped into my head. What do I want in a friend? What does a friend want in me? Is a true friend someone who just agrees with everything I say and do? I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. Plutarch. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The quote I just read is from Plutarch, an ancient Greek philosopher, historian, biographer, essayist, and priest. Plutarch was born in the 1st century into a prominent Greek family near the city of Delphi in the early days of the Roman Empire. Best known for his biographies of leading figures in antiquity and essays on ethics and virtue, including his famous works Moralia and Parallel Lives, Plutarch has inspired countless historians and philosophers throughout the ages. I now bring us back to the quote I mentioned before. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. What is Plutarch trying to say? He's telling us that we need a friend who is not only a yes man, but a no man as well. Not just a basic reflection of ourselves. In fact, our shadow handles that job pretty well. But who wants a shadow as a friend? But to the other extreme, who wants a friend that constantly disagrees with us? Constantly questions our decisions, belittles us in our actions? Plutarch explores this and brings light to what we really want. A friend who doesn't just confirm our opinions and convictions, but will also speak up. Defend us when others speak badly of us. Bring us up when we are down. Hold us to a standard where we want to be held. A true friend will be part of your journey and you part of theirs. Sticking it out through the twists and turns and the inevitable setbacks along the way. We want respect and someone who is willing to hear us. Someone to speak honestly without sacrificing the truth for sensitivity along the way. But when it comes down to it, we want someone who's loyal. Not act like they're true blue when they're with us, but betray us when they're not. Willing to tell us what we need to hear when we don't want to hear it. This is a true friend. If they're not, sooner or later it will get back to us. And trust me, I know, it's not pretty when it does. We want our friend to stand by us when we need support. We want our friend to stay with us when it would be easier for them to abandon us. Yet, this is not only relevant in our friendships. There are countless situations in which this principle is and should be adopted. Take Donald Trump, a name that resonates with all of us. Politicians, like such, are a typical example of what Plutarch dismisses. They seem to constantly surround themselves with shadows, narrow-minded people with the same goals and outlooks as them. Some may say, why does this matter? After all, they're all working towards the same goal. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, surrounds himself with yes men. People without a mind of their own, constantly agreeing with all that he says and does, such as if he were a god. So loyal that when he mentioned in one of his speeches, we're going to have to fight much harder, his devoted, simple followers took him so literally they stormed the US Capitol building, putting numerous lives at risk and causing significant damage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why we, in various aspects of life, need to adopt Plutarch's principle, gain a mind of our own, have our own outlooks and opinions, control over ourselves. Finally, we don't need someone to be just like us, to change when we change, to nod when we nod. After all, we have a shadow for that. To finish, I bring us back to the situation I was left in earlier this year with Sam, the new kid at my school. I realised our friendship was insincere and we didn't really know each other at all. So I sought to develop our relationship to one of respect for each other. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with this. Take a look at the relationships in your life. Do you find yourself surrounded by yes people? Or even, are you a yes man? Thank you.